Welcome to I24 News Sports Daily Magazine with all the latest scores and stories from around the world. We begin with football. The last season is one that Manchester United would love to forget. No trophies and only at 7th in the Premier League, which means there's no European action for them this year. Now, with a new manager, the fans hope for a different story. It looks good so far, as the Red Devils won the friendly Champions Cup tournament in the United States. Matthew Tabman and Daniel Roth with a story.
The final of the Champions Cup was played in Miami, Florida, but it was an English affair. Manchester United with the new Louis van Gaal facing Liverpool, who are known as the Mighty Reds, but once again they play in yellow. And of course they scored first. Raheem Sterling is brought down in the area. Captain Steve Gerrard takes the shot, beating De Gea in goal. The equalizer for United came after the break. Chicharito finds Wayne Rooney, and the striker finds the net as he has done so many times before. 1-1, joy for Van Gaal.
It was a wonderful goal, again, a wonderful goal when you see the attack and what he did to push the ball under the legs of the opponent, but also in the corner of the goal. But it was a great cross from Chicharito also. It was a very good attack.
The Red Devils now took control of the match, and it took only 2 minutes to strike again. This time it's Spanish midfielder Juan Mata who beat Mineole in goal, and now it's Manchester United who hold the lead. United now completely in control. Rooney thought he scored again midway through the second half, but the referee called the goal off after reviewing the replay and deciding the ball went out of play before Rooney's goal. Liverpool tried to get back just as they did against Manchester City, but it didn't happen this time. Just as the game was ending, Jesse Lingard beats Mineole with a nice shot. Manchester United wins 3-1 and takes home the Champions Cup. Good news for the Red Devils is the new season is just around the corner.
It's nice for the fans in the United States of America, but also at home, that we beat Liverpool. It's not our favorite opponent, I think, for the Man United fans, and I think we have gave a lot of pleasure to these fans, and that's very important. And of course, it is better to win in the preparation time than to lose. But the most important game is against Swansea City, the first game at home in the Premier League. That we have to win.
Manchester United will now go back home for the final preparations ahead of their first match in Old Trafford.
And with us in the studio is our football analyst, Yoav Borovic. Hi, Yoav.
Hi, Jonathan.
So yes, warm-up, okay, it's not official, but still, beating Real Madrid, beating Liverpool, that's a sort of a statement.
Yes, 3-1, both games. You know, Manchester United, after a terrible season, they won't be playing in the Champions League next year. This is why...
They're not playing in Europe in the next
They're not playing in Europe.
When did that happen?
Not that I can remember, but you know, they got rid of David Moyes, they got Louis van Gaal in, a really experienced, great coach. But still, I think, you know, Manchester United, they beat Real Madrid without Cristiano Ronaldo, without James Rodriguez. Liverpool, obviously, we know that Luis Suarez is not there. They're not that strong of a team. Man United, you know, they got Ander Herrera in the midfield. They got Luke Shaw as a fullback. But I think they need 2 more central defenders. I think they need more firepower. They're a very good team, but you know, if they want to be great, they want to beat Manchester City, they want to beat Chelsea, they want to beat those Arsenal, those very strong teams, and Liverpool, they need to get even stronger.
You mentioned all those big names, Suarez, James. It seems like Manchester United is not in the game. They go to Barcelona, they go to Real Madrid, they go to Chelsea. Is Manchester United in their league, or they don't have that kind of money?
Yeah, it's a very good point. They're not playing in the same league like those giant clubs, because they got Ander Herrera, you know, they got him for 25, 30 million pounds. You know, it's not a cheap player, but he's not even in the Spanish national team, not even in the roster. Luke Shaw is a 19-year-old kid from Southampton. Those are the big names. They wanted to get Mats Hummels. They wanted to get Mats Hummels.
Manchester United.
Yeah, they wanted to get Mats Hummels, one of the best defenders in the world, but he's still not not there. In the past, it wasn't like that, but we know the Glazers are trying to be, looking more over the money, and we know the failures that they had with big acquisitions in the last few years. For example, Fellaini, the Belgian guy who now they want midfielder, they now want to get rid of him. So they don't really go for the huge names, but they're still Man United. When they will want to open the pocket, they can do that.
But still, looking at them against City, against Chelsea, are they in the race?
In the hunt? I think they're in the hunt. A team that has Wayne Rooney and Van Persie. We need to see how Van Persie will play. They have a great coach, Louis van Gaal. He always succeeds, especially in the first year or two in new teams, because then his influence is felt. After that, he fights with the players, with the stars, with the media,
gone.
And then he's gone. We'll see now, but I think they're in the hunt, but I don't think they're favorites.
Yeah, and the Premier League resumes in less than 2 weeks. Yoav Borovic, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now to tennis and to the Canadian Open in Toronto, perhaps the most important warm-up tournament ahead of the US Open. The American fans were used to see years of local success in Flushing Meadows, but these are slower times in American tennis. The good old days of Connors and McEnroe, Sampras and Agassi, or even Andy Roddick are long gone. Now John Isner is the top American player, but judging by his performance in Toronto, there's not much to look for in the US Open. Isner is out after the first round. The hard-hitting 10th seed lost to Croatian Ivan Dodic in 3 sets, 6-4, 6-7, and 6-3. It's been 11 years since an American won the trophy in New York. If Isner is a big hope, the home crowd will probably have to wait at least for 1 more year. Jo-Wilfried Tsonga returned to the court for the first time since Wimbledon. His rival was fellow French Edouard Roger Vasselin. Tsonga won all of their 6 previous meetings, and he did it again this time. There was a real challenge only in the first set, which went to a tiebreak. The second one was much easier. Tsonga wins in straight sets, 7-6 and 6-1.
Tsonga.
Andy Murray automatically qualified to the second round in Toronto. This will be his first tournament since Wimbledon. But these are not the only news regarding the world number 9. According to British tabloid The Daily Mail, Amélie Mauresmo agreed to remain as Murray's long-term coach, including the long weeks of travel around the world. Mauresmo is the first woman to coach a top male player. Her appointment last May was seen as a short-term appointment due to the refusal to commit to the time and traveling involved. But according to the report, she has now agreed to travel with Murray for 25 weeks per year, much more than Murray's former coach, Ivan Lendl. While the men's Canadian Open is held in Toronto, it's Canada's second largest city, Montreal, that hosts the women's event. German Sabine Lisicki met the 13th seed Sara Errani from Italy, who did not live up to her ranking. The Italian was nowhere to be seen in the first set, which Lisicki easily won 6-1. On to the second set, Errani led 5-3 and served for the set, but she was broken and then lost 3 more games. Lisicki advances to the second round following her straight sets victory, 6-1 and 7-5. The current unstable situation in our area takes its toll on sporting events. Following basketball, swimming, and sailing events that were moved out of Israel, now it's Israeli tennis who pays the price. The Israeli ATP tournament set to take place in mid-September was cancelled due to Operation Protective Edge. This is a serious blow, as it should have been the first ATP tournament in Israel for nearly 20 years. The same tennis court in Ramat HaSharon is set to host the Davis Cup match between Israel and Argentina just a few days earlier. At the moment, it is unclear if the tie would be played there or moved as well. The Argentine Tennis Federation already raised its concerns.
We were communicating with the International Tennis Federation, underlining our concerns and asking for a decision as soon as possible from the various possibilities in accordance with International Federation rules, to find a solution regarding this present situation of instability that Israel is living in, that we are very sad about, but it is a reality and it influences an event like the Davis Cup.
Paul George was supposed to be one of the leading figures of Team USA, who is now training ahead of the Mundo Basket, the Basketball World Cup. But one very unfortunate defensive move changed his destiny. The Indiana Pacers star is now recovering from a surgery following a terrible injury.
Team USA's preparation for the Basketball World Cup took a turn for the worse as Paul George, one of the team's biggest stars, suffered a horrific leg injury while training in Las Vegas. It was just a regular defensive move against James Harden's layup attempt, but the result is clear and tragic. A double fracture of the left tibia, which means he is not only out for the upcoming Mundo Basket in Spain, George will also miss most, if not all, of the next season with the Indiana Pacers. A great shock and unbearable images that prompted the American coach to suspend the game out of respect for the player and his family.
And respect to Paul and his family.
He was immediately taken to hospital and already went through surgery. His coach had nothing but warm words for the medical team.
I felt that the medical people were right there in control, and he appeared like stoic.
The surgery was successful, but the first predictions speak of a 6 weeks recovery period before being able to walk again, and much more before coming back to the basketball court. Paul George should have been a key member of the American team in the upcoming World Cup and was highly motivated.
And for myself, the eyes is really on me this year, with Lance being gone and everyone thinking this is going to be a rebuilding year for us. I got a lot of pressure, and I'm coming into this year, ready to, be able to hold up on that pressure.
Today, the support for Paul George is huge. Touching images of Team USA coach sitting next to his players are spread all over the internet. On Twitter, Cleveland star LeBron James wished George a speedy recovery. Not forgetting Oklahoma City Thunder's key player Kevin Durant, who stated also in a tweet that he was praying for his colleague. On Twitter, the Pray for George hashtag quickly became the most popular by all NBA stars. The demonstration of solidarity exists even outside the NBA, as boxer Floyd Mayweather also visited George at the hospital. George himself was not left indifferent by all the support. He answered all the messages on Twitter by declaring that all this love and support will help him come back even stronger. This injury will, however, change the story for the American team. Now they feel an even greater will to win the trophy.
We all come in, as our own individual players from different teams, but when we come here, we just have one common goal, and that's to win the U.S., win a goal for the U.S. So that's the only thing that we come out here to do. And, I feel like that's at the focus of my mind is just winning a gold medal for the USA.
While the players may be looking forward to the tournament, it's a different story for team owners. They were not very happy to see their players compete in international tournaments even before this injury, after the great effort the NBA season requires. The Paul George case will probably make their position even tougher, and this might be the end of NBA stars in Team USA.
Paul George is not the only NBA star who will be absent from the Mundo Basket that will begin at the end of the month in Spain. European champions France will have to get along without their biggest star. Tony Parker said he wants to get some well-deserved rest this summer. Parker led France to the European title last summer and immediately after that returned to San Antonio to join the Spurs on a season that ended with another championship ring. While Parker's official reason for his absence is his will to rest, it's a different story for another San Antonio player. Manu Ginobili wanted to join the Argentine squad, but the Spurs asked the 37-year-old shooting guard not to play in the World Cup due to his reappearing right foot injury. Swim in mud, crawl in barrels, climb on fences. Sounds like fun? For some people it is. Thousands of them took place in the annual mud race this weekend in England. Samuel Calvo and Gabi Tartakovsky with the story.
Nearly 6,000 riders met this weekend in northern England for the Tough Mudder, an obstacle course inspired by the training routine of British Special Forces. It plays on the deepest fears of the human being as fire, water, electricity, and height.
We used to do lots of marathons and half marathons and triathlons, and we realized that these kind of timed events were a little bit too serious, and they were very kind of individualistic. We were looking for an event where people would work together, would help each other, and you could really test themselves.
This competition in the mud is different from other sporting events of the same kind, since it involves team spirit apart from the individual effort. Some obstacles are impossible to pass without the help of others. The participants are encouraged to promote mutual team play. Individual performance is not enough.
Tough Mudder obstacles, yes, are absolutely inspired by some of the obstacles encountered by the British Special Forces. My co-founder, Will, worked closely in his previous life as a counter-terrorism officer with a lot of the Special Forces guys, and we look to them for inspiration for a lot of the obstacles we put in place.
It's a course that requires a lot of strength, but it's not only about the power you have. Balance and endurance are also essential factors for success in this bumpy ride. It's a tough road, but only tough people come to give it a shot. Almost 80% of those who come to the start line also make it to the finish line.
Absolutely horrendous. nearly died, as you can see on that last thing, and floored me 3 times. Hardest thing I've done in my life. I did it last year and it was much harder this year than last year. 100 times worse. But it was fun.
Since the first race in 2010, more than 1.3 million people participated in the race that involves a lot of mud, but most of all, a lot of good mood.
Absolutely horrendous. That's what the guy said. That's it for us today. Don't forget, you can catch us anytime on our website at i24news.tv. We're also on Facebook and on Twitter. Thank you for watching and have a beautiful day.